All right, so if you need a little bit more help or to see an example of um, writing linear equations from a graph, I feel like that's probably going to be the hardest one because last year we did use the calculator with finding 2 points, also using linear regression in the calculator. This year is going to be a little bit different. We're actually just going to look at the graph and solve it from there. We don't need the calculator for this. So we're going to solve it two different ways. We're going to do delta y over delta x. And just remember, when we say this, this is just y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. The other way we're going to solve it is rise over run. And you don't have to use both every single time. We're just doing this to find, remember, slope. And then the way we find y-intercept is just looking at the line. So we're going to get into that. So remember, we want it in y equals mx plus b form. So let's grab 2 points. Let's do this first one. So y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. We'll do this one in purple, and we will do this one in green. Make it a little bit easier to see. So all we need to do is grab 2 points on this graph. So I'm going to grab this point right here because they're both positive numbers. And this is 9, comma 2, the ordered pair. And then let's grab this one right here. And this is at 3, negative 2. So I'm just going to put those over here. We have 9, 2, and we have 3, negative 2. I'm going to say this one is 1, this one is 2. So now remember in ordered pairs, to make it easier, I'll just write this up here. Remember, it's always x, comma y. Think about the alphabet. X is before y in the alphabet, same in ordered pairs. X is first. So let's set this up for y2 minus y1. Well, here's the 2 right here. Let me get my little laser pointer. Here's the 2, and this is my y part right there. So it's going to be negative 2 minus y1. Well, here's my 1, and the 1 right there is matched up with the 2 for the y. So, I'm sorry, that should be a 2. So, it should look like negative 2 minus 2. And then x2 minus x1, we're going to look at the 2 and the x for that, and that is 3, subtracted by x1. Here's 1, and then that x for that ordered pair is 9. So we have this. So let's solve it. So here, negative 2 minus 2 is negative 4. And 3 minus 9 is negative 6. So we have this slope right here, negative 4 over negative 6. Well, we know this can be simplified because they're both even numbers, so we can simplify this by 2. Simplify, so divide it by 2, and we're going to get negative 2 over negative 6. I'm sorry, negative 3. Well, from here, both the numerator and the denominator are negative, so this actually turns into 2 over 3. So we figured out our slope by y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1 by grabbing 2 points, determining y2, y1, x2, x1, and then just subtracting, and then from there reducing our fraction. And both were negative, so negative 2 over negative 3 turns into 2 over 3. Just as if we were multiplying two negatives together, it would equal a positive. So we found our slope by doing that. So I can do y equals 2/3 x. And now we just need that plus b. Remember, we need this plus b right here. Well, that is just the y-intercept. Remember, that's where the line crosses the y-axis. So if I look at my slope or my line, I see that this crosses here at -4. Now, you can do plus -4. That's perfectly fine. But to make it look a little bit cleaner, we can always just do y equals 2/3 x minus 4. Know that the y-intercept is -4. And you can add -4 to it, plus -4. But just to make it look a little bit cleaner, we can just go ahead and say y equals 2/3 x minus 4. Now let's do this by doing rise over run. So I'm going to actually erase all of this. So if you need to still write this down, or if you are not following, you can always rewind the video. But I'm going to erase it. So again, if you need to go back, just pause it just a few seconds before I erase everything. So we're still going to do the same line. Of course, we're going to get the same exact number and the same exact equation. I just want to show you doing rise over run. Remember, rise over run is going to look like this. You can either go up or down, but we still always want to go right. It just makes it a little bit easier going right. So I'm going to grab this point right here, and the next point I have to get to is right here. Well, for me to do that, if I go up 1, I can't get to that point. But if I go up 2, I can get to this point, now going to the right. So I went up 2, and then I went to the right 1, 2, 3. I went to the right 3 times. So I rose 2, and I ran 3. That's my slope right there. X, and then my y-intercept right there, minus 4. Y equals 2/3 x minus 4. Now, let's say I grabbed this point and I didn't see this point right here. Let's say I didn't see that point. I went up actually over here. Well, I could still count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I went up 6. And then I went to the right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Went 9. I rose 6 and ran 9. Well, this is still 2/3. This is equal. This just needs to get reduced, simplified. Well, I can divide 6 by 3 and get 2. And I could divide 9 by 3 to get 3. So what? And then again, y-intercept right there, minus 4. Now let's look at this one. So we're going to do the same exact thing, but here I want to look at this graph. Now, if I look at this graph, remember, we can read this reading left to right. This is a positive slope. Reading it left to right. This one looks different. This one's the opposite. Reading it left to right, this goes down. So I know my slope's going to be negative. But let's see what it is. So here, 2 ways. Again, we're going to do y2 minus y1. We're going to do both ways. y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. From here, I'm going to get 2 points. So here's a point right here, and here's a point right here. Honestly, what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually pick a new point, because it's just easier if you have all positives. Even though it's not going to change the answer, I'm actually going to use these 2 points right here. So let's say this one is 1, and that is at 3, 3. So again, I'm saying this one is 1. And right here, 6 and 2. And this one is 2. So for y2, it's going to be 2 minus 3 and 6 minus 3. Well, 2 minus 3 is -1, and 6 minus 3 is 3. So my slope is 1 over 3. Can't get reduced down, and since there's only one negative in the numerator or denominator, that means this is going to be a negative fraction, x. And now let's find the plus b, because this is y, this one right here, equals mx. We have that so far, we just need the plus 3, or I'm sorry, plus b. Well, remember, the y-axis is this line right here, and we want to know where the slope or the line crosses, and it crosses at +4. So we have our plus b. That's right there, +4, m -1/3. So this is my equation for this line. Let's do the other way with rise over run. Again, we're going to get the same exact answer. It's just for practice. Well, here's a point right here. Here's a point right here. Remember, for rise over run, we want to go either up or down. You pick, but we're always going to go right. Well, to get to this point, I have to go down 1. So I went down 1, so -1, and then I go 1, 2, 3, plus 3. So my slope is -1 over 3. So same exact thing here. Y equals -1/3 x, and my y-intercept is right there, +4. So again, if you have any troubles and you've watched the video at least 2 times, when you have any questions related to this in class tomorrow, raise your hand, or if anytime you are referring back to it, if we're a little bit later in the year and we're using this as review, don't hesitate. Myself, Miss Martineau, or whoever your math algebra teacher is, will gladly help. So remember, in your interactive journal, you do have those notes, just kind of basic overview of it. And then we have 2 examples here, help using both rise over run and y2 minus y1 over x2 minus delta y over delta x. When I say delta, that just means change. So that little triangle earlier, this little thing, triangle y over triangle x. This right there is called delta. So when we say change, just know that. Other than that, thank you for watching.